I think a lot of what we're talking about, though, is something that kind of ties to a Washington Post article that was this morning at Obama's competence problem, and a lot of I'm seeing a lot of our issues tying into a similar messaging strategy that we could begin to deploy, and that's the competence, one size fits all, and the other one that I forgot. Oh crap! Because I can't count to three. I don't know how, but the people, young people today, and really everybody now, recognizes that incompetence in government is not a surprise, it's just sort of a given. Unfortunately, that's not being translated to the conclusion of then we better make it less responsible for things in our lives. You know, if they're incompetent, let's make them also irrelevant. Okay? That would seem to make sense, right? But somehow we need to find a way to message the fact that government is incompetent and federal government is more incompetent than most, and they're trying this whole one-size-fits-all thing that they can't even do any of it right at all, and we need to find a way to message and have that be sort of the overarching theme of all Republican libertarian ideas that are pitched, because also our problem is that Republicans and libertarians, every single person has their own policy proposal. And that then ends up, because there are so many, it ends up being translated as there are none. You know, we hear Republicans want to repeal Obamacare, but they don't have any solution. Well, actually, we have 400,000 solutions because we want to try individual labs at the state and county level, and that's actually the way things work better. But we don't have a way to message the fact that our millions of solutions are the solution. Because one size fits all is not an answer. Obamacare is one size fits all. We have a million different sizes and options rather than one big option. We're not going to, repeal and replace big bad with one big bad. That's a big conservative bad. And and it's similar on the whole the welfare thing. Paul Ryan got a lot of press earlier this week because he came out with a big wonky welfare poverty proposal and was on a couple of news shows talking about that. And it was loudly touted as, wow, it's about time a Republican starts talking about welfare and poverty. What? They all have welfare poverty programs. We talk about that all the time. But because there isn't one welfare poverty solution like raise the minimum wage that we all rally behind, and that's not a bug, that's a feature. The way the libertarian conservative philosophy works is we don't all rally behind a single solution. Our answer is multiple answers. But because we haven't figured out a way to explain that effectively, and I'm not doing so, I'm taking 5 minutes to explain it, that we have multiple answers.
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt you. You did a very good job, and it's probably going to be clipped out and put on the internet in a few hours, what you just said. So, no, it's. I think you did a remarkably good job of just saying what our response is. It's not one size fits all. It's multiple choice. I think that is a perfect response. That makes sense.
The third thing you were looking for must have been energy.
Oh, most likely, yes. Being from Texas, energy is one of the things that I'm always looking at, and I agree with Rick Perry. I always forget about the Department of Energy. Yeah, I caught that.
Every time. The poor guy, he can't catch a break. That's why he's not a serious he's not a serious presidential candidate, because
he forgot that one thing once.
No one is going to let him live that down, or any of the other things that he's had a few more of them recently that he can't blame on the back pain. So
our current president has never had a talk how to speak-o, so, but he's black.
Not in any of the 57 states that he's visited.
I gotta say, it's a little depressing that I'm so deep into politics that whenever I hear someone list off 3 things and they forget the third, that I default to energy as the punchline. With non-political people who look at me like, what does that have to do with anything? It's that. I've
It's
got
just
to
that.
stop.
Well, you know, when I said I couldn't remember the third, that I was absolutely thinking of Rick Perry. You know, I was thinking of that. And then when you came back and said energy, I got it instantly. We are such dorks.